Dan Nolan there in Dubai. Now to discuss the issue of data security in more detail, we're joined by Philip Victor. He's a director at the International Multilateral Partnership Against Cyber Threats, or IMPACT. The organisation aims to promote global internet security. Thanks very much for coming into the studio. So Saudi Arabia hasn't put this ban in place yet. Do you think it's reluctant to do so?
I think they are also concerned about the number of users they have in the country for Blackberry, and they are also in discussions with RIM now and seeing how they can work out some of these issues. As obviously Saudi and UAE would want to make sure that their users are taken care of as well. But again, they are also talking to RIM to ensure that if they can come to a compromise, then they don't have to go for that ban for now. So I think they're still discussing these terms first before they actually go into that ban fully.
Do you think a compromise can be reached here? Can Research in Motion not encrypt its messages, or can it not send these messages overseas?
Excellent. I think this has been a universal concern all the while when it comes to encrypted data. And I think the biggest problem in any country is that balancing between security and privacy. And when you have data that is encrypted and the country does not have a hold on it, it becomes difficult for the country to monitor, because I think the biggest concern is that technology is used by the good guys and the bad guys. And the question is that how do we ensure that the bad guys are not using it for purposes that could cause harm to the country. And I think every country wants to have certain control over that kind of data, and countries will continue to advocate this. And I think that RIM is trying to also ensure that their consumers are protected as well in terms of privacy. So the balance has to be reached there to ensure that users are protected, country gets certain control over it. They should come to a certain compromise. They should come to a certain compromise, but not to discriminate the users in terms of their privacy, but they have to reach a compromise so that the country can also have certain hold on the data to ensure that there's no issues in the country as far as any threats to when it comes to national security.
Why do you think it's these countries specifically that have raised this issue? Why are we not seeing China joining the fray? China obviously in the past very keen to access people's emails.
Again, as I mentioned earlier, this is a universal concern, and I think that UAE and Saudi has been the first two countries to bring it up, and we are seeing more countries coming and voicing out this issue. We are seeing Indonesia, we are seeing India. I think that more countries will see this as an issue and will bring it up in the future. But as of now, we are seeing these two countries which are really voicing out the concern. And I won't be surprised if more countries are going to come up, probably even China. They will see. But again, countries have to ensure that users are protected. Countries have to ensure that it does not affect the businesses, it does not affect the economy of the country. So I think countries are taking let's see what happens on this side. If the negotiations are going well, maybe we can reach a conclusion, some kind of agreement, and they don't have to ban it first. So I think it will come about.
Okay, well, a lot of problems for Blackberry coming up. All right. Philip Victor, thanks very much for joining us here in the studio.
Thank you very much.